let me testify.
Okay, ladies, I was standing in Target at the checkout line and my chest just tightened. And it wasn't no heart attack. I'm okay. We blessed in the city, we blessed in the field. But I had this tightness and I was like bracing for something. And the person in front of me, he was buying some paper towels. I don't know why that was relevant, but my mind like focused in on like what he was purchasing. And that was literally all that was happening. I didn't have the kids with me. I wasn't stressed. It could have been because I was in Target and I haven't been there since the the current administration. But it was that my body had chose this moment to release everything I had been holding. It didn't show up in the meeting where I felt like I was being belittled or minimized. It didn't show up in the conversation that I had been avoiding for weeks at a time. It was at Target and it was me looking at some paper towels. And it was just that. And I also think about the moments when I wake up and I'm already tired, even though I got 8 hours, 9 hours sometimes, praise the Lord, of sleep. It is when I find myself like clenching my jaw at a red light and having no idea when it started. I've started grinding my teeth again. Where'd that come from? Listeners, if you've ever had a moment where your body goes off because the stomach hurts, your jaw is being clenched, your shoulders are next to your ears, you're not getting enough sleep. If you can think about and process through, when's the last time you physically noticed that your body was giving you a signal and you just pushed it to the side because you had to keep doing what you had to do? When was the last time your body got your attention? The headaches, the aches, the stomach in knots, your doctor saying everything looks normal, but somehow you feel like, no, I don't feel normal. Your body is trying to tell you something, and so are we.
Yes, yes, it is. Okay, so if this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Yes Work podcast. We are so glad you are here. I am Lady D.
I am Dr. DQ. And I'm Dr. Blaire.
So if you've been with us all season, welcome back. We have been tracking what happens after the yes, after the friendship shifts, the marriage gets real, the anger finally has a name. Today, we are going somewhere new, ladies, the body. This isn't a medical conversation. No, we're not in the medical field at all. Nobody's diagnosing anybody today.
You know what I like to say? We're doctors and not physicians because there's a difference. So, doctor, you're like, oh, Dr. Blaire, Dr. DQ. We not medical doctors. So don't.
No. Yeah.
We still save lives though. Hallelujah. Come on.
So we do not work in the medical field. We are asking something simpler today. We're asking what happens when the mind stops listening and the body starts talking louder. We are asking, what does it feel like when you've been ignoring something so long that your body takes over the conversation? We have been confusing functioning with being healthy, and we've been looking successful, okay? It's still being physically overwhelmed. It is time, y'all. It's time for us to talk about it. And so that's what we're doing today. So if you've been waiting for this conversation, go ahead. You know the deal. Pause. Get the link, share it, make a comment. We want to make sure that you're spreading this word to your other girlies, your sisters out there, your aunties, grandmas, nanas, mamas.
Uncles and husbands too.
Uncles and husbands, they need it too. That's right. Spread the word because it's time for that check-in. You can start naming what you've been going through.
So let's just call it out, right? If we think about how normal it's become to just often file everything under the I'm just tired statement. Like, oh, I need rest, I'm exhausted. Well, that exhaustion turns into a personality trait instead of just a signal, right? So we start to explain away the headache faster than we'd sit with what actually caused it. Like we just file it under this current state, like, ooh, yeah, I woke up and I was exhausted, but it's normal. It's just life at this point. So what would it actually look like to believe our bodies and believe and trust that our bodies are actually trying to help us? So doing that and taking that mind shift can actually really help and change your life. So I'm going to ask y'all ladies, what is a physical symptom you've had for so long that you actually stop thinking of it as a symptom?
So, for me, it's the headache. So, Dr. DQ, as you were kind of talking through that piece, I oftentimes will minimize it like, oh, maybe I didn't drink enough water, even though, and these ladies know me, if water could be prescribed, then I would probably have a script that I would need to fill in right now at CVS. It could be a day where I was super high. I will always try to negotiate why headache as opposed to like sitting and actually thinking about what caused it. I woke up with a headache yesterday and today. And I took my little essential oils, I rubbed it on my temples behind my neck, and I was like, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep moving. Didn't even think about like what could have happened yesterday or throughout the night that caused me to have a headache as soon as I wake up in the morning. And the same goes for when I am grinding my teeth. Like, I won't notice until I'm eating my first meal where I'm like, ooh, like, why are my teeth sensitive? Like, it hurts for me to. And we know, some may know that grinding your teeth is typically associated with stress. And so the days where I'm like, my teeth are really sensitive while I'm eating this delicious carrot cake or whatever it is, I just pass it off. I do not stop and think about like, girl, what are you going through right now that you started grinding your teeth again? So baby, I write everything off.
Yes, I agree. I think this is such a deep, reflective question that it's so deep for me that it hasn't even come to the surface that that it is a problem or a symptom, right? Because just listening to Dr. Blaire, absolutely the headaches I've experienced for so long. I remember being diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was in undergrad.
Mhm.
Wow.
And even leading up to that moment, there were all the signs, there were all the symptoms of, the fatigue or the feeling dizzy, not seeing clearly, like it was blurry, and I would have those headaches and I'm like, I'm just tired. I'm just a college student, whatever,
Wow.
all those things until this moment when I was at work and I almost passed out. And that's when I learned I had high blood pressure. So I feel like those kind of things have continued on. The anxiety or the tightness of the chest, I'm just
Yeah.
like, Lord, I just turn the other cheek and just keep going. Like that's just what it is. In this moment, I've
Mm.
taught myself, and it makes me think back and reflect to other previous conversations, like in other women, like we say, "Oh, I work well under stress. I'm
Right.
good. I
Girl,
can do that,"
That's
right?
good.
is that a
So
badge?
right. And so you start to think like, okay, that tightness of the chest is it's okay. It's
Mm.
normalized because I'm okay. I know I can produce good work and I do produce good work in that moment. So
Mhm.
wow, like for me, I'm reflecting right now in the moment, like
Mm.
of these symptoms and the grinding teeth thing. Y'all,
Girl.
I just learned, first of all, that I grind my teeth. I had no idea. I did not know. I had no awareness that I was grinding my teeth at night. And I did get a mouth guard and it was completely uncomfortable.
Yeah, they
But
are.
now, yes, they are. And then, it makes sense because of the sensitivity, like you mentioned.
Yep.
But all of those things are tied and connected to stress. And
Yes.
I have always just looked the other way. I have not even noticed them as a concern.
And I was thinking as you were talking about the teeth, Lady B, how that transfers to how we don't look like what we've been through. We look at our smiles and they're beautiful. The
Girl.
dentists get in there behind the scenes and they're like, baby,
Mhm.
you're wearing your teeth down. And how does that translate to us as amazing, high performing women, Black women, how I have to present, but my body internally is struggling on a regular basis. And
Girl, come on.
I can't even acknowledge it because I look in the mirror and it look good. I may feel it a
Mhm.
little bit, but I keep going, I keep pushing. But that teeth analogy, I said, wow. Because I'm looking
Girl.
at our beautiful smiles and I'm like, and behind the scenes, we wear
Yeah.
mouth guards at night.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I'm
Yeah.
right there with both of y'all with the teeth grinding. There have been times I've woken up in the morning and my jaw is tight, and I'm realizing, like, wait a minute, why is my jaw tight? What's happening?
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
I have also had the tightening in the chest, not often, but when I feel it, I'm like, nope, whatever I'm doing, put it down because this
Oh, that's
stress is not
good.
about to take me out.
That's
But to
good.
add to that list, for me, I have my shoulders up by my ears all the time.
Mm.
All the time, to the point that I don't even realize it sometimes. And I'm like, oh, wait, up your shoulder. So a lot of times when we're talking in this space and I am telling people what I know and trying to encourage people, I'm always going to say, relax your shoulders.
Wow.
Because sometimes we don't realize, at
Yeah.
least for me, I don't realize that they're up by my ears. And I walk around like that all day.
Yes. Ain't got no neck because your shoulders over here.
None. Wonder why I look the way I do in some of these pictures I be snapping. Shoulders all the way
Yes.
up there. My earrings are dangling on my shoulders. Okay,
Ooh.
so I'll be having to fix that.
Oh my
That's
gosh. Can I
good.
just thought of another body.
Come on.
Because Dr. DK, when you mention your shoulders, it made me start thinking, because I've had a conversation, maybe it was with you all or brought it up to my primary. But my shoulder has been like aching on one side, right? Because I'm a
Yep.
side sleeper. So you begin
Same.
to talk about like, oh, maybe I need to readjust how I'm sleeping. But I also learned that is linked to other things like, hello, perimenopause.
Don't say
Women,
that to me.
yes,
Girl, it
No.
is.
yes,
I rebuke the
girl,
devil. That
Girl.
news.
It's
Absolutely
some
not. I will not
listeners right
accept
now
that.
like, what?
girl,
I'm
the
on
Do
that.
it.
shoulder
No,
is
I'm going to
linked to
attribute
it.
that to us needing another mattress. I
I need,
refuse.
You better
but
buy a new
what?
mattress.
Well, see, so that's the thing. I got a new mattress. I have a
Oh.
good pillow. It's not that. So I can't fix. So then it made me think also about my neck, right? Because I don't know about y'all, but like my neck it's really
Tight
tight
all the time.
sometimes, all the time. And stress also carries in the back of your neck. Like
Yep.
you mentioned your shoulders, but it's also your neck as well. So if you're feeling some tightness and sensitivity and, you just move your neck around, like the stress is carried there as well. And I carry it all the time. And I'm always like, oh, I need a new pillow. You start thinking about other things in your environment that could be impacting it when it's really the things that's happening right now in your body and your mental stress,
Yes.
emotional stress is
Mhm.
causing these physical ailments.
Girl, I
Yeah.
carry all my stress in my neck and my back and my shoulders. All of it.
That makes me think, ladies, about when I get a massage, there are times where like I feel really good and I'm like, I just want a relaxing massage. Y'all, and they'll get in my back and those knots. They're what my last massage actually, I felt good going in. And in there with her forearm and I can feel the knots. And she's like, oh my goodness, you're so stressed. And I was like, yes, I am. And
Right.
wow, I can literally feel, I said, baby, this ain't relaxing no more. Like I had to tell her, like, leave him alone. Normally I'm like,
Leave
get
the
in there,
knots,
girl.
please.
Leave these
them
knots
there.
alone. But it's just amazing that we just out of sight, out of mind, or maybe out of mind. And then, you know what I'm saying? It blurs our vision and our understanding of what's happening in our body. So that was a good question, Dr. DQ. So I think it's important to acknowledge that, we having to talk about it now. We ain't even got to our real lives for real. But it is trending right now as far as the reactions to stress. And there's a whole corner of social media right now dedicated to nervous system talk. We've talked a little bit about it, regulating your nervous system, trauma responses. I am quick to say that when I'm working with a colleague and I feel like this is a trauma response right now, right? Just based off of past experiences and what you're anticipating in the space. They probably hate it, but it's real. But it's everywhere. And at the same time, Black women are talking more openly about burnout and stress than I've seen in a really, really long time. And Lady B talked about it, that perimenopause. It's finally a part of the conversation because our mamas wasn't talking about it. Grandma didn't. I had to get to my 40s before someone mentioned that. And I was like, what that is? There's something before the menopause? I was ramping up for 50 and they're like, nah, you got 10 years of this coming. So it's not good or bad as far as these conversations and what's being said. It's just more awareness and we're noticing things out loud now. And I think that's really important. And I'm wondering if burnout culture is being named more honestly around you or still hidden behind, I'm just built different. That narrative, right? I'm a strong Black woman. This is what we do. So we talked last week about the power of naming the struggle while in the struggle to diffuse the strong woman stereotype, the myth that we are just able to endure and handle it all. So I want to talk about some of the things that are happening in media, social media today. Do y'all have any that y'all want to bring and surface to the space?
I can talk about Halle Berry, Halle
Halle
Berry.
Berry.
So I know Halle Berry has talked about assuming that she has skipped perimenopause because she felt healthy, but then she was caught off guard by the symptoms that she didn't recognize at first. And this relates to me because I have a lot of sister friends talking about perimenopause, and I'm like, no, it ain't me. I'm not having that. So I hope that, I am not overlooking symptoms like Halle
Yeah.
Berry did, because I am, to the point of this conversation, really just feeling like, oh, this is my stress level now. Because to be fair, the stress that I'm dealing with now in my 40s is different from the stress that I had in my 30s or my 20s. So
Yeah.
with another level or another type of stress, I'm expecting it to align with different types of symptoms. And I'm just getting older, right? So dealing with that and changes in my body, but I refuse to call it perimenopause. Okay.
Dr. DQ, Halle Berry is actually the first person that I've heard openly speak about perimenopause because she was on Good Morning America speaking about it. And it was a great interview. And it helped to open up conversations with my own mom because we started to talk about, like, when did you experience it? Because ultimately, everyone experiences at different ages.
Yeah.
And so I actually have my nail technician said that she started in her 20s because you can, yes, you
I
can
gasped. I can't.
start. She got diagnosed with it early in her
Wow.
20s. Yeah. And so she was having hot flashes and all kinds of things. And so I feel like everybody's symptoms are so different. And I think I love that there's awareness and attention
Yes.
to it. I think is the biggest piece. And so I don't want you to shy away from it or,
No, because it's
or
gonna
anything like
happen.
that because it is what it is. And some people may not even experience it ever
That's
as
real.
well, right?
Yeah.
So it's just really just knowing your body
Yeah.
and being able to
Yes.
understand.
I think that's the piece, right? The attunement, if that's a word, to your body and just the noticing that what I used to do ain't working no more, or I feel different when I wake up in the morning. Because then that gives us the ability to say, like, well, a little stiff when I first get, let me add stretch. I can make accommodations now for whatever shifts are taking place. But if I don't even acknowledge them, if I'm not even aware, we don't know what we don't know. Right. So Halle Berry was that. I mean, it's just ignorance is a lack of knowledge. That's all it is. So if nobody in her circle talked about that thing, then I wouldn't know that this tiredness I'm feeling, like this hot flash, this, irritability that we're like, I was just around my cycle. I ain't got no cycle. So how am I still irritable? What are you talking? You know what I mean? Like, so when we have that knowledge, we could do something different with it. Y'all, I gotta make mention of when Gabrielle Union shared about her hot flash while she was at the Met Gala. Baby, she was standing next to Bad Bunny. And if y'all haven't seen the video, go see the video. Because it's not anything dramatic. But if you know, you like, oh, it was like this instant, cute little glow that came. And she was like, whoo, I'm hot. I said, oh, she in it. She could not hide it. And I think that just speaks to our body, right? When stress accumulates and builds up, like I can't I can't hide it anymore. I can't stuff this behind this thing anymore and make it seem like I'm good and that I'm just weathering through the storm. I appreciate when I first went to my doctor and I was like, something going on. I'm apologizing to my kids every day because I'm snapping off and I'm doing this and doing all of that. And she told me, you don't have to suffer through this thing. God don't want us to suffer through all that life is, because we already know that we're going to have challenges and that he equips us to endure. We are not supposed to just, we got to build those mechanisms of strategies. We got to incorporate those accommodations to be able to get through the thing. And I'm hoping that that's what, as we talk about it more within media and whatever other channels, that's what we get to. Like, the more we can name it, then the more we can then shift to like action and be purposeful about it.
Yes.
That was a
I
good
love
talk.
it. It's so good. It's so good. And I just I have so many thoughts because this is why we created this podcast. Like, this is one of
Mm,
the reasons, right? To begin to have these open dialogues and conversations or discussions around things that are happening with our own selves that we don't,
yeah.
it's like it's not talked about openly and honestly. And
Mm,
these are things that, yes, we got to continue to talk about. So
yes.
now we gonna shift into I realize, and then we've already talked about, some personal things with what we're seeing in our body. We're noticing things that our body's trying to tell us. And I'm just proud of us because we at least are acknowledging and learning, like, okay, this is what's going
Yeah.
on in my life. But I have a question for y'all. Have y'all ever had someone, whether it's a coworker, friend, family member, who's kind of noticed this stress in your body or that you're carrying that maybe before, like, you didn't notice? Like, what was that? Who was it? And what did they notice before you did?
I'm
I
looking at Dr. DQ's face. Go ahead, Dr. DQ. She's like, mm.
Okay, so I, like so many other women, have dealt with fibroids and not realizing what it did to my body or what it was doing to my body. There was a loved one, and this was after me and Jason had our first child. I think Tristan might have been 2 or something like that. He was young. And this person, this family member, love her to life, wanted us to have another child. And so she looked at me one day and she was like, "You sure you're not pregnant?" And then proceeded to reach for my stomach area. And I was like, "No, I'm not." So not realizing, I think at the time I don't really didn't know how bad my fibroids were. And of course, she didn't know about the fibroids,
Yeah.
but just the stress and my lifestyle contributed to the fibroids. And so there was that observation that came to be part of the conversation. So I think it was, in a sense, kind of like her intuition. Something's growing. What is it? Well, it was fibroids.
Mm.
She said, I'll be it. Help. Wow.
Now, now, we didn't realize it for a while later. So at the time, I was
Wow.
like, I just need to lose weight or I need to work out and do all the things. But yeah. Mhm.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Mm-mm-mm.
How things
Wow.
will just grow and they're being fed and we don't even
Girl,
realize it.
girl.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh
And
my
just,
goodness.
that's the importance. It just already tells us how important it is. It's great when other people can pay attention to you as well, right?
Yeah.
And notice the differences and changes. And sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it takes our spouses or our close loved ones to notice something
Yeah.
different that stands out or to point out, like, that's not you,
Right.
right? That's not how you typically respond. So
Yeah.
I love that.
One of the things that I was thinking about as you were talking, Dr. DQ, was, and even the comment around, something in you was being fed and you wasn't even realizing it. And
Mhm.
how for some that's going to start with the mental, right? And we've talked about how the enemy is a slick, the father of lies, right? Somebody planting a seed about you or saying something that contradicts with what you know to be true as far as who you are, your character, your personality, whatever it is. But that will be fed by other things, or it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy even sometimes, right? And somebody will say something, you'll be like, was that directed towards
Mhm.
me? Or is that,
Mhm.
and then how that can show up in your body later on. But sometimes it starts in the mental, it starts in your mind. I also think that, Lady B, you mentioned like our partners, and Dr. DQ, you mentioned like family members. My
Mm,
husband, real quick, you tired. What you gonna tell
mm.
me? And let's be real, y'all know as ladies sometimes, and it be someone who love you and care about you. They say that they're like, "What you say?" Because we immediately go to, "I don't look like what I'm going through." So what you mean I'm tired? How you know I'm tired? Because I look good.
Girl, you so different. Because if Jason ever said that to me, I'd be like, I wonder why. But he's never said that.
No, Antoine has definitely said it to me. He said it to the kids. He's like,
Mhm.
"Listen, your mom's tired. Let her." And I'm and there
Mhm.
I'll be sitting at the kitchen table like,
That's
"Did I say
sweet.
I was tired?"
Right. That's
Girl, you better
yeah.
take it while you can.
I mean, y'all know I be sitting in my mustard colored chair.
Yeah, you
So I
do.
take
You
I
be
take
getting your
my
nap.
moments.
That
But
you don't really want people to call you tired, right? You don't
Yeah.
want it to be called out. Because I get you. I feel you. Like, yes, I'm tired, but I don't look this what I look like. I
okay,
don't
this
look
look good.
tired. I look good. So how
Mm,
you Yeah, I
on
get
my
that.
mama. I'm telling you, y'all. I'm telling you. So yeah,
Gosh,
that's what came to my mind, Dr. DQ, with your question there.
man.
So
I love that. I think that for me, as I think about somebody else noticing the stress that I'm carrying, it's honestly the weight, my midsection. And so I've
yeah.
noticed that the older I get, right? Okay, my ladies that I don't know, I'm gonna say over 35, 37,
37.
yeah, that 37 age range, you pick up weight. And I'm like, wait, I've been eting the same way
The same
forever.
thing.
I
So how
didn't
come my body not
change.
doing what it did
Why,
back
why
at
my body
32?
not not why my body not doing the same
Yeah,
thing.
man.
So, I had someone to point out in a very nice way. Like, and I don't even think they like pointed it out in that way, but it made me realize, okay, my midsection
Mm,
is harder to lose weight in my midsection. And, that is after talking with my doctor, also connected to perimenopause, also connected
yes.
to stress. And so these are the things that sometimes we're so hard on ourselves when it comes to weight gain, when it
Yeah.
comes to, people are losing hair, like hair loss,
Yeah.
all those things when it comes to stress. And we write it off or we begin to internalize it and feel guilty for it, which enhances
The
that.
stress.
Yeah, it
Yes.
enhances the stress. It adds more stress to it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's layered on layers on top of layers. And so I think that it's important that we acknowledge that this is real life and it's happening and there's things and things to do and to handle it or to manage it. But that was one of the first things I noticed. So, in full circle, we all have experienced some real life situations and I hope listeners you all able to hear some of our stories. You go back
Yeah.
to Dr. Blaire's Target story. Maybe you were standing in the line and you had that feeling, that tightness in the chest, and it comes out of nowhere. Right?
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere and you don't know what to do in that moment, but you are becoming aware that your body needs to be doing something like alert,
Mm.
alert. Your body
Yes.
is sending signals, alert.
Yeah.
So I think that that is awesome. So, yes, we keep talking about, and we could talk all day, right, about what happened and what we're seeing in our bodies. But really, we also need to reflect and grow from that and grow from what you understand now that maybe you didn't back then. So, we have a diverse audience listening. And so, some of our listeners are probably older than us. So, y'all share some feedback, some advice, but also to the people that are listening that are maybe younger than us or maybe haven't gone through what we're going through or have gone through. What is something that we would say to them? And I think about what I wish someone had told me, and I'll pose this to you ladies as well. But I wish that someone had told me, honestly, to take better care of my physical health when I was younger, right? Because the stress of life as you get older will have its impact. And once that stress kicks in, you may find it challenging to focus on your physical health. So it makes me think of the scripture that says, worry about today, for tomorrow has enough worries and troubles of its own.
Oh,
You don't know what that's going to look like. So
right.
prioritize your health today,
Yeah.
prioritize what you're doing today, and understand that how easy you have it now, tomorrow has additional worries and additional troubles that might impact how you're able to care for yourself. So get a head start. Y'all out there in y'all
Amen.
20s, take good care of yourself. If you're in your 30s, it ain't too late. Take good care of yourself because
Never too
we
late.
in our 40s and we still gonna take care of ourselves. But myself personally, I wish I had focused on it sooner.
Mhm.
That's good.
So what y'all think? What y'all got?
Girl, listen, mine's about to sound crazy, but I wish that someone would have told me to take my vitamins.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
You're right.
I
Wow.
I wish someone would have told me a long time ago to take my vitamins. I remember as a young girl taking the Flintstones vitamins here and there, right? Because I thought it tastes good some days. But I remember a huge gap in not taking vitamins. Like
Mm.
in college, in grad school, like I don't remember taking vitamins until I became pregnant and I was like, oh, I need to take prenatal vitamins.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then I took the prenatal vitamins, but then from there, I started to take the one a days, women vitamins every now and then. But how many of us have gone to our doctors as Black women? First of all, a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D, right? So
Yep.
the iron, like there's something so that vitamin D3 pills, there's so many other vitamins like the K2, I think, or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
D3, K2, they're absorbed
Yes.
better when they're
There's
taken
so
together.
many that's
Yes,
coming
they
out. I'm
are.
like, well, what? I know nothing about that before then. Like, how
Yeah.
are we learning this? So I wish that someone would have took the time to tell me. I wish
Mhm.
I would have known that earlier. In addition, I recently, again, like I said, I went to my doctor. She said, "Oh, Miss Brittany, you are over the age of 40. You should be taking the over the age 40 vitamins." I said,
Girl,
over
that's
the
news
age
to
of
me.
40?
Hold on a minute.
There's
What is it?
over the age 40?
What's that? The
I gotta change my
Centrium?
vitamins.
Girl, I don't know because I know I hadn't even gone to the store yet to find them because I told her, I was like, well, I just take the regular, multivitamin or the probiotics and all that stuff. But I'm also not very good at taking pills or vitamins, y'all. But apparently there
Gummies.
are, Dr. Blaire. Oh, and
They're
they in
gummies.
gummy form because that's good. I love everything in a gummy
Yes.
or in a powder that I can put in a drink. But ladies
Yeah.
or listeners, like men, right? There's so many vitamins out there. There's so many nutrients that we, especially those with melanin in our skin, are lacking. We're lacking nutrients and we're deficient in. So I wish I would have known that sooner. That's my answer.
Good. I wish someone would have told me that what we have been calling self-care is actually self-maintenance.
Girl, listen, that's real.
It's the difference
Mhm.
between the two. I used to say, oh, getting my nails done, that's my self-care. No, I have a standard of what I want these nails to look like. And what I want to look like. So
Girl,
it's
you just
not
made me feel.
self-care because I'll take a meeting while there. You know what I mean? I'm not in a moment of peace or reflection, or it's not necessarily wellness. Right. But a lot of the things that we say is self-care. Getting my hair done, that's self-care. You're caring for yourself, but it's not self-care. It's maintenance.
I love that.
And that's, that I wish somebody would have told, because years, faithfully every 2 weeks getting my nails done. It's my self-care. That's how especially after I had the babies. Like, it's my self-care. No, it's not.
Well, I like that spin. Now, for me, it's still my self-care because I am kid-free while I'm there, and I use that time to kinda, like, relax, relate, release,
Well, then that's good.
and
Yeah.
I am praying to God or just thinking through some things that maybe I haven't been able to think through yet, but I do
That's
love
good,
that
girl.
because sometimes I'm like, "Do I really need to get my nails done?" Because I got all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so I like that framing that it's maintenance because yes, I have a standard that I like to maintain. So I love that reframe.
I love that.
That was mine.
I love that.
Mhm.
So I want to go back to something that we said earlier about our bodies trying to communicate with us instead of assuming that they're betraying us, right? Because our bodies really, like I said, it's saying alert, alert. And it really makes me think about Elijah, right? Elijah in the Bible. And I don't know if many of us know the story because I had to refresh my memory on this one, but Elijah had just experienced this incredible spiritual victory he had. He was threatened by Queen Jezebel. She had threatened his life, so he ran. He was afraid, he was exhausted, isolated, and eventually he ended up sitting up under a tree. It was a juniper tree. And basically, he had told God, I've had enough, right? And what gets me is God's response, right? God doesn't say, he doesn't correct him. That's not his first step. He doesn't tell Elijah, you need more faith. He doesn't say that. He didn't give him another assignment. What he did was he allowed him to sleep. He allowed him to rest. He fed him. He gave him water. He made all of those provisions for him directly. And so he let him sleep and he ate again. So I think that there's something powerful in that for us to take into our own lives because sometimes we often spiritualize everything that we're feeling and that leaves us completely ignoring what's actually happening in our bodies. So you tend to not pay attention to your bodies because you're like, oh, everything, oh, God wants it this way. Like it's in my head, or something like that. But you can't ignore the things that are happening. Oftentimes we're praying, we're serving, We're working, we're parents, we're leading businesses, and we're taking care of everybody. And we're wondering why we're exhausted, why we're so tense and our chest is tightened, or why we don't just feel like ourselves. But this story, I really like Elijah's story because it reminds us that caring for the body, like we said, that self maintenance, that self care, caring for our body isn't separate from our spiritual lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to be together. So
Yeah.
God really ministered to Elijah as a whole person. And, maybe sometimes the spiritual thing to do isn't to push through another day. How oftentimes do we just push through? I can make it through another day. Instead, we're called to let's pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to the rest that we need, pay attention to what we're eating. And maybe it's also to acknowledge that my body is just telling me something is requiring my attention and my time because God didn't shame Elijah for reaching his limit, right? He's not going to shame us for being burdened, overburdened, feeling overwhelmed, all of those things, right? We're supposed to cast all of our burdens on him and he will meet us there. So he's going to meet you where you are.
He sure will.
Right?
So your yes this week, listeners, my ladies and gentlemen. Once a day, when you notice a physical sensation, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about our jaws, our shoulders, shallow breath, even tight chest, whatever it may be. Just pause and ask yourself without judgment. And I want to stress the without judgment piece because we often will get into this space of thinking that we can't feel this thing or I don't have a right to feel this thing because I got to keep pushing. I represent this and people are depending on me. So without judgment, pause and ask yourself what emotion might be underneath that feeling, that physical sensation. And that's it. You're not fixing nothing. You're not analyzing it. You're just going to name the thing. We in this season of naming because we recognize that awareness can then lead to action, y'all. So some things to lean into, especially for those that are in this space of journaling or even just having conversations with people. Think about that physical sensation and think about where you felt it in your body, when, maybe what was happening. What was happening 5 minutes before you noticed the thing? If that sensation could speak, what would he say or she say to you? What is she trying to tell you? So those are some journal prompts, some questions, follow-up even questions you can ask. Again, after you pause and ask yourself without judgment, what emotion is underneath this? And that's your yes. Listen, we don't have to give y'all much, right? Your yes does not have to be this grandiose thing. It can be a micro moment. And that's really where we want y'all to sit this week.
All right. So before we go, we are going to do something we haven't done before, I don't think. This is like a rapid fire style activity. What I want you ladies to do, and I'm going to do it as well, is just wrap up with one sentence. This week, I'm paying attention to fill in the blank. So I'll go first. This week, I am paying attention to what my shoulders do when I get to work versus when I leave work.
Ooh.
Versus before I go to bed. So like where are my stress levels? What shoulder dance are we doing? That's what I'm going to pay attention to this week. What about y'all?
Ooh,
love
that's so
that.
good. This week, I'm going to pay attention to my sleeping habits. So I'm going to pay attention to if I sleep on the opposite side, does my shoulder still hurt? So I can tie that into, is that related to, I don't know, perimenopause? Is that related to, do I just have a shoulder issue going on or what? So I'm going to be looking at that this week.
It's good. This week, I'm going to pay attention to what I am dismissing versus what I'm communicating. This has been a growth area for me. So I've been starting to say like, hey, I'm tired, like, or hey, I need a minute. Like I'm in the shower and you're trying to have a whole like conversation with me about
Girl, that's another episode. Why? How
my
you previewing
goodness.
stuff?
Let's just make that another one. That's a whole
It's
other
real.
episode.
It's real. So I'm going to pay more attention to when I just dismiss it and just go with the flow, get through it, whatever, versus when I communicate my need and say like, may I please have this time to myself?
Awesome.
Good luck with that
Awesome,
one.
awesome. So notice what your body's trying to tell you. That's one thing. But knowing what to actually do with it once you've heard it, that's a different conversation. So I love that we've landed here. I love that we've had this discussion. So listeners, make sure that you join us for part 2 next week when we dive more into what to do once we're listening to our bodies. And until then, like, subscribe, share, and lean into God's understanding and not your own. Bye.
Bye.